top 5 characters for Revan squads in the game. So we're looking at the best characters to put on a team, allies to use with Jedi Knight Revan. So moving on to our number 5 character to use in a Revan squad. Who do we have here, Maurice?
We have, I believe, number 5, we went with, let me find the list, Ezra. We just talked about him, Ezra.
So why is he the 5th best option?
Well, he's got your Dispel that also packs in a mean punch, especially if you got the Zeta. Has a, we talk about his assist all the time. It's probably the best assist mechanic in the game because you can, if you can generate protection on tanks, you can guarantee a crit hit for attacker. I think versus support or healer, it gives them turn meter. So it's a interesting assist mechanic. Double taps, which is nice. It does basically some damage, not named Grandmaster Yoda. Because as we just saw in a lot of these battles you just faced, it's Grandmaster Yoda does all the damage. So this is a nice way to kind of have some additional damage as well in the team. Just a good, pretty durable character. Just got a very, I guess, balanced stat kit. He's not super squishy, but he's not super tanky. He doesn't hit super hard, but he's not, a wuss. Just nice average stats across the board. Very good character. One of my favorite characters.
Absolutely. I mean, he provides a dispel. Obviously, a double attack is great. He also calls an assist, which again provides somebody to attack out of turn, which is a huge bonus for a Revan team. He's very fast. He does a lot of damage. He has the ability to basically gain, a ton of turn meter, when you're facing a non-buffed ally or non-buffed opponent. So he's a great option. Obviously, he's, I think, going to be one of the less options. That's why he's at number 5 here, because even though he is a great damage dealer, I think he sacrificed some other benefits that you need from some of the other characters, and that's why he's not ranked a little bit higher on this list right now. But Ezra Bridger, definitely a great option if you don't have some of the other options that are on this list as we move along. But that's our number 5 Jedi, or number 5 character to be used on a Revan squad. Moving along to our number 4, we do have Jolee Bindo. So, I mean, I know that you guys probably thought he was going to be a little bit higher on this list, but the fact is that he is probably the next best option after Ezra Bridger. I'd say that he is somebody that has pretty much everything you need for this squad, besides the ability to heal, resurrect.
They're calling him Aladdin in chat.
I saw that. Yeah, I was really about to start cracking up when I saw that. But yeah, no, he does look like Aladdin. But he does hit like a wet noodle. Yes. But the thing is that he does also have all the other intangibles that you look for. So he calls in assist. Okay, he heals. He dispels. He revives. He can taunt. Okay, so he's also a very, very beefy character. He's one of the most stacked characters that can be on this team. He's got a ton of health and protection, and at gear 12, he is an immovable object, especially when coupled with all the bonuses that he gets from the Revan leadership. Also, one of the bigger benefits is that he has both the Old Republic and the Jedi tag, so he gains double bonuses for having both tags. So he gains the additional bonus for having the Old Republic tag as well, making him just a little bit of a cut above the rest, okay? And that's just unfortunately something that you don't get from characters like Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger and some of the other characters that don't necessarily make this list. But Jolee Bindo at number 4, what are your thoughts about him?
Well, he looks like Aladdin.
Looks like Aladdin.
He just he's number 4 just because if you have Hermit Yoda already developed, he'll slot in fine. This is a very, very long-term best Revan team. If you have a focus, you shouldn't rush out and do Jolee next. He's going to be there just for all the reasons you mentioned. He's just a brick wall. He's so hard to take down. Just the revive is extremely frustrating because because you can't, if you focus Jolie first, you have to kill him twice, and that's just a massive waste of your time. So he's so just irritating, just overall. Just I imagine we're gonna see a lot of Jolie Bendo on like TW defense.
Oh, for
Guilds
sure.
decide to put Revan on, they're going to include Jolie, and we've seen some of the Bastila teams include Jolie in TW, and that's also kind of frustrating. Just his basic, you guys mentioned it hits like a wet noodle, but every time he goes, he reduces his cooldowns by 1, and there's so many assists going on that team that he can just essentially get the revive maybe 2-3 times a match if needed. So it could be just infuriating. It's very annoying.
Plus, I mean, again, you're getting a lot of value out of him for the raid as well. So if you don't have a good P2 team, or if you would like one, I mean, he is somebody that adds a lot of value to the Sith raid, with that revive. And again, now that you have Revan in the mix, things just get a little bit better. So, I mean, he's just an overall, besides arena meta, he's also just an overall fantastic character, and somebody that you get a lot of value, because if you have Revan, you have this guy too, because you have to have him. So obviously you already have a 7-star Jolie Bindu, might as well invest a little bit of gear and a Zeta in the guy, and you'll get the value out of him that you should. I'm telling you, he's worth it.
Well, Greg G brings up a good point in the chat too. He does have the best skill names in the game.
Yes. Yes. You do it. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, you do it. Yeah, he sounds. I don't know why. That's Jolie Bindu. So, yeah, he's a fantastic character and definitely a must-have for a Revan squad, I think. But that's our number 4 character to go on a Revan squad. Moving along to our number 3 character that you'd like to see on a Revan squad, or third best character to use on a Revan squad. We have... Who do we have here, Maurice?
Here we got Bastila, the other New Republic character, or new Old Republic character. It's just basic with ability block that's... I mean, on this team is... basically get 100% potency and 100% damage on it from all the Jedi. So that's going to be pretty effective. She's got a stun, she's got a dispel, and she's got the boosting. She gives the defense up, offense, accuracy, crit chance up for 3 turns to an ally. They assist. Naturally you want to give it to Grandmaster Yoda.
Every time.
Spreads it around so everybody has it. So it's basically a squad-wide buff if you have it clocked properly, which is pretty phenomenal. Dispel, stun, we went over. Lead is irrelevant because you're using it under Revan, but what's so important about Bastila, is something I kind of overlooked until I started using her, is the protection she gets back, and also all other allies gain 3% turn meter, double for Jedi, for each buff she has. So she is your turn meter manipulating character in the team, or turn meter boosting character. So she can provide some little bumps of turn meter here and there to your team, which really help, especially Grandmaster Yoda get going. You just take those barrage of turns like we saw earlier. He's just taking out Night Sister after Night Sister. She adds a lot of value. Just overall, just a good, rock solid support character for your team.
Especially when you're facing a team with a lot of taunts, like let's say a Sith team, for example, when you don't necessarily have Revan, or if let's say Revan gets fractured or something like that, and you have to kind of become a little resourceful with your dispels. She does have a dispel, so she can dispel Sith Trooper or Scion. She could also stun, for example, Nest, if you want to keep Nest out of the battle for a little bit. She does have that ability to call and assist, which again is getting a Jedi to attack out of turn, which has a tremendous bonus on a Revan squad. She also gives all those bonuses to the team, which can be a huge benefit, being that a lot of squads out there right now are so tanky, and giving Grandmaster Yoda all that offensive power can be a game changer when it comes to taking out a beefy character, like let's say a really beefy Darth Nihilus or a Sith Trooper throughout the battle, because those guys can get to the point where they're almost impossible to take out. So having those offensive bonuses, getting all those buffs to your team can help out tremendously. Also when targeting specific allies with Revan to try to take them out. But yeah, besides that, we have like Maurice said, a basic that does ability block, and she's just overall a fantastic character that really rounds out the Revan squad. She's definitely a fantastic character to have with Revan, and I'd say somebody that's definitely necessary because of the battle meditation for sure, as a huge part of it.
Well, she's super easy to gear. Incredibly easy to gear. I mean, if you guys have Revan, that means you have a 7-star Bastila. You could probably gear her up without really doing too much farming in a couple weeks. I was shocked at how easy she was. Like, I took her all the way up to almost gear 9 when I unlocked her initially, like instantly, which is pretty incredible. So for such a dynamic, important character, she's great. Like Nest, her and Nest both are just Night Sister Zombie's not terrible either. I mean, these are important characters in today's game that are just not gear intensive at all. So that's another plus to her.
And she's Revan's wife. She's his girl, y'all. She's his girl. Okay? So they were married, and she belongs with Revan. That's just the way it works. So moving along to our number 2 character to use in a Revan squad, we have General Kenobi. Okay, so we were actually talking about this a little bit earlier. General Kenobi is a fantastic character to couple with Revan. He's obviously a tank, and you need one of those, but he also has the ability to cleanse. He offers or gives the rest of his Jedi allies and the rest of his allies, period, retribution, which causes them to attack out of turn, which is also benefit to Revan leadership. And then on top of that, he calls in assist, which also causes allies to attack out of turn, which gives them added damage and protection. So he is a fantastic option for a Revan leadership. He also is one of the more tanky characters. He's somebody who can help protect your team. And as far as his ability to give crit immunity to squads, he has a passive taunt, which is fantastic. Overall, he's just he's been a staple in this game, and he continues to be now with the addition of a Jedi leader. What are your thoughts about him?
Well, he is the best Jedi tank. Now, I will say, if you're facing another Revan team, he's not number 2 anymore, because there's so much crit immunity going around. He's never gonna taunt, But he does do that assist, and just overall, just a great tanky character. Got a cleanse, got the retribution, which can be extremely annoying. Especially you get it on Grandmaster Yoda, you get it on Revan, you get it on Bastila, who's got an ability block on her basic. That's pretty it's pretty important. So he's still arguably the best, definitely the best light side tank. You can make a case he's the best tank in the game still, just overall.
For sure.
So, no different here.
For sure. And that's our number 2 character to be used in a Revan squad. Moving along to our number 1. I think it's pretty clear who this guy is. He's definitely the best character, an absolute must in a Revan team, and that is Grand Master Yoda. So recently reworked. He now has additional offense. He gets to go again after using Master Stroke. So if used correctly, you can kind of manipulate the turns with Yoda to get everything lined up correctly, so that you can spread buffs with battle meditation. And then when you get those buffs from Bastila, you can take characters out with unstoppable force. And obviously he gains a ton of turn meter with his basic attack, Ataru, and he just is probably going to be your major damage dealer on the team, and you need to have one of those. So if you're not going to have Ezra Bridger, then you need to have Grandmaster Yoda. And I think that with the ability to spread all those buffs to the team, being that this team is really buff heavy and really needs those buffs, really relies on those buffs, I think that you're not going to have a better option than Grandmaster Yoda. What are your thoughts, Maurice?
We just saw him just pretty much single-handedly annihilate your whole team. He is the offense of the team. And that Revan, get out of jail revive type where it just heals them up to 100% protection health. That's pretty much designed probably specifically for Grandmaster Yoda because he is extremely squishy, but he does so much damage with all those buffs you mentioned. Just crazy. And he gives himself so much turn meter. He just, at the beginning of a match, on offense, you can pass all the assists to him, from strategic advantage, from Bastila, from whoever you're using, Jolie, and he just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes, just constantly just dropping the pain on his basic attack. Just, I'll tell you what, that rework to him, is a little, that rework to Yoda was really good. He is a super dynamic character now.
Yeah,
arguably one of the best, and he's a support character too, which is odd.
And we were wondering why, right? I mean, all this time, there were no other Jedi reworks. We were like, why just Grandmaster Yoda? And then, all these bounty hunters, all these, Night Sisters, nothing about anybody else, And then we find out that, it's pretty much essential to have this guy reworked to be a part of this Jedi Knight Revan team. So, it's a good thing that they did the rework when they did. I mean, I wish we had a couple other reworks. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to have, a Jedi Knight Anakin in there too, with a rework, and maybe Ayla Secura with a rework, and maybe, somebody mentioned Eve Koff. Eve Koff is one of my favorites. I'd love to see him in there too. But Grandmaster Yoda definitely takes the top spot here. But we do have an honorable mention as usual, and I just mentioned her name, Ayla Secura. So you may have seen some videos recently about Ayla in the squad. She does counterattack, so again, being able to attack out of turn is a huge benefit in a Revan team. But she is a kind of squishy, and she also does not do a ton of damage. She does have the ability to stun with her basic attack, and then she also has the ability to call in assist whenever she attacks. So again, kind of going with that theme of getting Jedis to attack out of turn. I mean, what do you think? Why do you think she's here?
Well, she doesn't do much damage, no, but she can be modded to do decent damage. She is a support character, so she's, you don't, it's not required that she does 50k on a basic or anything, but it's just she, not only does she counter herself, she randomly assists, so she's constantly regaining protection. And like we mentioned earlier, kind of if you manipulate her protection to be super high, even against Traya teams, it won't penalize her for attacking out of turn. She'll constantly have full protection, and that stun in the basic, unless it's against a Traya team, is just extremely disruptive. Just when she's randomly attacking and countering, it's just a very, very disruptive piece for your Jedi Revan teams. This is probably going to be more of like a TW defensive play here with Ayla Secura. Just it's good, and this is a character that if you've started like in the last year and a half, you probably don't have, nor do you have to rush and get her. This is more of a treat for the people that have played the game a long time, because Ayla did used to be a very, very good character, very, very good. Or probably on the meta report for a very short time at the beginning of the game. just it's good to see her actually usable again, which is nice. So I'm looking forward to. I'm taking mine from 11 to. I had her at 11. I'm taking her up to 12 now. I'm looking forward to kind of playing around with her, seeing what I can do with her.
Right. And I'm gonna test her out a little bit too. I mean, I made a video about her when the Grandmaster Yoda rework came out to kind of see how you can get her to attack a couple of times out of turn when people are being called in for assists. But again, she's very situational, and I think that if you don't have other options and you do have Ayla, she can be a nice addition to the squad. Again, there are some better ways to go, but I think that ultimately, eventually, when the Jedi rework does come down the pipe, she'll be one of those Jedi that gets it a fix, and she'll be one of the better Jedi, because her kit is just fantastic. I think she just needs a little bit of the damage boost, and the rest of the kit would be actually okay. But yeah, I know I saw some of you guys mention Mace Windu. Of course, Mace Windu would be fantastic. He should be on this list. Unfortunately, Mace Windu is just the suctitude of Mace Windu in this game is at a very high level. and unfortunately we don't want to talk about him anymore. It actually hurts my soul to talk about Mace Windu in this game because he's just always been a very disappointing character. But maybe one day that'll change, and I'm sure it will. Okay, Mace Windu will have his time in the sun. So will General Grievous. So will a lot of the characters that we want to see get some love at some point. So let's just wait and see what happens. But that was our top 5 for the week. If you guys did like that and you like this kind of stuff, please do, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel and like the video. But we will.
Yes, Master.